In this video, we're going to look at the NextMind device and see how we can use it as a controller in Unity to interact with different game objects. This device is it clips on or straps to the back of one's head, and it uses brain computing to control objects. We have different game objects, as we'll see in the SDK. So let's get started. So right here, I've just opened up a completely new Unity project, and the first thing I need to do is get the package from NextMind. And there are a couple different ways to do this. You can download the package straight from their website, which can be done as we have done similarly in class, or a somewhat easier way is through the package manager. But for some people, if we look at our scope, there might not be options here for my registries. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the edit menu, into our project settings, and here we can do a new scoped registry, which essentially allows us to get packages from the webs. So we're going to copy this information from their website in their documentation section. And then we should be able to just grab it after the fact. So we'll enter all this information. We will save this. So now we should have a package called NextMind. So we'll go back up to the package manager, and now I should have my registries. And here is the SDK, and we'll go ahead and install that just like any other packages or when we get. So after getting that package installed, if we come under our packages folder in the project window, we will see this NextMind SDK folder. And in there, we're going to go under Runtime, Prefabs, and the important ones we are going to want. The Neuro Manager is going to be necessary. And then under Neuro Tags built in, they have provided us with 4 prefabs of different kinds of objects that can be used. So now we are simply going to just drag this Neuro Manager prefab into our scene. And as we see, it has this component called Neuro Manager. And we'll dive into this a little bit further, but for now, everything's just going to be left on default. And one thing that is provided to us under this Utilities folder is a Connected Device Status prefab. And if we add this, it's actually a canvas and has UI elements. And these UI elements work just as any other things we've been working with. So this features a sensor that shows how connected each node is, the battery level, and the name of the device. So now that we have our device set up and our scene somewhat made, let's go ahead and grab one of these Neuro tags, which is how the device interacts with Unity. So I'll go ahead and just grab this sphere tag, and I'll move it so that I can actually see it. And I'll put it up here. And this tag has a Neuro tag component to it. So if I were to run this right now, what we're going to see is we see this kind of texture applied to it in these rotating blue lines that form a triangle. And what this does is, if I were using the device and I were to look at and focus on this device, the lines would come together forming a triangle. And because in the Neuro Manager I'm simulating a device and simulating a focus under the Neuro Manager component, if I use my mouse, I can click, and as we see, my mouse is being held down right now. I'm holding the click. The focus is up to 100%, or it's actually at 1. It ranges from 0 to 1. And if I let go, it'll open and close, and I can kind of hold it for a little bit and not let it go all the way, and kind of pulse in and out with my clicks. But what if we want to do something when we control that? So let's go into my sphere tag object, and I'm going to add a component. I already had the name. I'm going to call it confidence logger. I'm following the documentation on the NextMind website, so I'm going to keep the naming the same. So I'll add this script to my sphere tag, and we'll go ahead and open this. And this looks familiar. But I'm going to copy and paste their default script for now and kind of walk through some things. So the top half of the script defines a new type called neurotag, which works similarly to something like a game object. It has its own methods, but it calls that neurotag component so we can recognize it instead of grabbing something like a collider. And this function down here on confidence chain reads in this float. And as I mentioned earlier, that confidence ranges from 0 to 1, and that is that focus that we saw with the blue lines forming the triangle. And since it goes from 0 to 1, we are actually going to multiply it by 100, so that way we can get a percentage now. So now we will print that out using debug.log. So as I'm holding, instead of going from 0 to 1, it will say user is focusing on this neurotag at, and now it should go from 0% up to 100%. So let's save this and go back to our Unity scene. So this has that neurotag component, it has the script. So now if I run it, once I click, we should get a debug message. Okay, user is focusing on this neurotag at, and I'm going to hold it and click. It's going up. Okay, it's at 100%. And I'm going to let go. Down, 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 down. Back down to 0. Again, I can kind of pulse it and make it go up and down, up and down. Okay, that's cool. So I'm focusing on it, but what can I do with that? So let's go ahead and open this script. And now we can kind of treat this like any other game object. So now, when my confidence changes, so anytime that it's being focused on, so it's not constantly running, we only have this awake and this on destroy, which just means when the object is gone, we're going to stop listening. So it's only being called when it's being focused on. So let's just do a simple thing. If my percentage is greater than or equal to 90, let's say, we'll just destroy it. We can do anything. We can change the color, we can move it, but for now we're just going to destroy this game object. So now let's go back after we've saved that, and I'll kind of press it a little bit to not go up to 90. Okay, I got up to 20, 40, not up there yet, got up to 70. Now let's hold it all the way, and once we get to 90, oh, it's gone. And we saw we got up to, once we hit 90%, it destroyed the game object. And that is pretty much the simple. So now we have this sphere tag, we have these predefined different shapes we can interact with. They gave us a capsule, a cube, a sphere, and then a UI, so we can kind of, make different images or things like that. We have this confidence logger script that we can do various things with, depending on this percentage or just read in the value. In this case, I just destroyed it, but there are many things we can do with this. So if you ever happen to have a NextMind device, you can follow these steps and be working on it in Unity in about 5 to 10 minutes.